Kickoff and more coming up after this. Don't go anywhere. This is USL Championship on ESPN+. Some of the future stars of soccer in the United States will be on full display tonight in Leesburg, Virginia. Segra Field decided this one as Loudoun United FC host Atlanta United 2 live on ESPN+. Hi everybody, thrilled to have you with us for this USL Championship broadcast. John Gross alongside the former captain of the Guyana national team, Chris Nurse. And Chris, we'll start with Luis Zamudio. He's our player to watch for Loudoun United. Has done a really nice job in net this season.
Yeah, Luis has had a very decent season this year. Probably feels a little bit hard done by the position of his team and the goals he's conceded, but he's made some fantastic saves, some magnificent performances, and looking forward to seeing him perform again tonight.
They call him El Pulpo, the octopus. He's been stellar. 5 clean sheets to set a club single-season record. And at the flip side, Jackson Conway, a very young player. He's been dominant this year. They're thrilled to have him back after missing the last 3 matches.
Yeah, and he's going to be very important for this team. A team that's not been able to pick up many wins in their last 9 games. It's going to be interesting to see if he can get himself on the score sheet tonight. Obviously, his aspirations to see if he can push himself into the senior team, and that starts performing for Loudoun United tonight.
Well, you mentioned that Atlanta United 2 have not been able to win recently. Like you said, winless in its last 9 matches, but they did pick up a win earlier this season against this very Loudoun United team. Atlanta United, a 2-0 victory. They got a couple of goals from Raymar, one via the penalty kick, and then later on in the match, in second half stoppage time, Raymar again, such a dangerous player, able to blast it home. Those are 2 of his 4 goals of the season, and that brace that he recorded against Loudoun United gave him Week 14 USL Championship Player of the Week performance accolades. So let's take a look at where these 2 teams stand entering today. These 2 sides are both near the bottom of the Eastern Conference table. A couple of very young teams, though. Yeah,
both these teams, I think it's fairly safe to say, not going to be in the postseason, not going to make the playoffs, but there's still a lot at stake for these players, sorry. They want to try and make up their senior team. They want to be in these rosters for next season, so there's still plenty for these players to play for.
And important to note that Loudoun United, they are atop of the 3 Eastern Conference MLS 2 sides in the standings. Well, it should be an interesting matchup. A lot of young talent on full display tonight in Virginia. We'll have lineups, kickoff, and more coming up after this. Don't go anywhere. This is USL Championship on ESPN+.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
Back here in Leesburg, Virginia. Happy to have you with us. Just moments away from getting things started. Second meeting of the season between Loudoun United FC and Atlanta United 2. an interesting matchup. A couple of teams who, as we talked about before, have struggled in the season, but a lot of very young players on these two rosters. And we'll start things off with a look at the Loudoun United starting 11, led by head coach Ryan Martin.
Yeah, we know both of these rosters are attacking-minded teams that necessarily don't have the most defensive shape and stability. Always tons of goals when these teams compete. Two teams that have actually have the most goals conceded throughout the USL Championship. So we expect plenty of goals tonight. It's going to be interesting to see how Zamudio performs. We obviously spoke about him previously, but it's also going to be very interesting to see how Jackson Conway performs coming back into this lineup for Atlanta United tonight.
Yeah, this is a side who are playing in its first match in 10 days. Like you said, it's been a bit of hot and cold this season for them, but a chance to pick up 3 points tonight. And on the flip side, Atlanta United, similar story for them under first-year head coach Jack Collison, I should say, in his first full season. Anything stand out to you in this lineup?
Interesting, they switched to 3 at the back, of course. Now that gives them more numbers going forward. We spoke about them not having a win in their past 9 games, and being able to put more bodies into the final third is going to be key to them becoming successful. So interesting to see having those attackers on the wide areas, but also Conway, we keep speaking about him, seeing the impact that he can have in this game.
There is the aforementioned Luis Zamudio. 5 clean sheets in this season. That a single season record for Loudoun United. As we wait to get things started, our officiating crew tonight, our match referee Gabrielle Giusti, Fritz Barbarous, Logan Reeves, our assistant referees, and Alexander Zhelyaskov, our 4th official. Lovely night in Virginia. Great night for some soccer. And then again, a lot of very young players on the pitch. Of course, these 2 reserve teams for 2 MLS clubs. Loudoun United with DC United, and Atlanta United 2, of course, with Atlanta United. And Chris, it's almost one of those situations where you look at some of the other teams in this league, more experienced, more older players on their rosters. It's almost like this is a level playing field when you look at just the ages and level of ability of these players.
I don't necessarily agree, because I think when you're playing in the USL Championship, if you're good enough, you're old enough. So these players are out there because somebody believes them to be good enough to compete at this level. So the expectations, the challenge is the same for every team in this organization, in the league. They've underperformed based upon their expectancies. You know, every team goes in with the purpose of trying to finish as high up the table as they can and reach the postseason and win trophies. And that's a huge part of development also, is winning games and developing a winning mentality and understanding your roles and responsibilities and working as a team unit. So despite their youthful age, and I think we also see that age or average of teams from the Premier League down is getting younger. I think there's potential, but I think when they reflect, yes, there's some bonuses with some players being able to go up, but overall the goal in the USL Championship is to compete and finish up as high as the table as you can, and both of these teams have fallen short this season.
Still some time to turn things around, and they'll look to do it tonight in Leesburg, Virginia. And away we go as Nicky Downs gets us started. Second meeting of the season, Loudoun United 5-15-3, Atlanta United 2, 4-18-4 on the season. Firmino, he's dispossessed and then whistled. Jockeying with Jalen Robinson, the captain of this Loudoun United side.
Of course, despite both of these teams not mathematically out of play of contention, but I think, you know, common sense would probably say that they're out of play of contention. There's still tons for these players to play for. You know, they're trying to sustain their positions on these rosters for next year. They want to try and make an impression on the head coach to progress up the ranks into the top team within the organization. So their mentality when things are not going right or may not have gone as well, which is this situation they're in right now, this is when you're really tested, because everybody can perform well when you're winning and you're at the top of the table. When you're really challenged is when things are not going so well. This is a huge test of your character, and as a young player, the character is one of the things that's always called into question when you're unproven and maybe a little lacking experience. And this is a huge challenge for these players to see if they can perform at a high level despite, you know, maybe some of the challenges that they're facing in the league standings.
Loudoun United able to win a corner kick. It's Zane who will take it. You mentioned facing some challenges. This Loudoun United side, fresh off of a very competitive performance against league-leading San Antonio. Matchup that head coach Ryan Martin said certainly showed a lot about his side, their ability to battle.
And of course, both these rosters have teams that have some very talented individuals.
Yes.
But there's one thing being a talented individual on a team that's not having that success. It's another thing being a talented individual on a team that's in the top of the table and challenging, and everybody is a talented individual. So I think it'll be interesting to see how those players progress. But, you know, I think as time goes on, the best players are always, more often than not, in teams competing at the top of the table. I think Milan Ilowski is probably the outlier right now, being the league's top goal scorer and playing with Orange County. You know, that's something that doesn't happen too often, being a league standout and a team that's pretty much out of the playoffs. But yeah, top players always plays in top teams. It's the hunger that drives you, that you want to win trophies, and when you don't win that, you don't feel fulfilled in your ambitions as a player or your goals as a team. So interesting to see what happens with some of those top potential players as time goes on.
Traeger had it momentarily, giving it right back to Loudoun United. First match in 10 days for this Loudoun United side. As Robinson lost it over the touchline. Quick throw in to Firmino in stride. And it comes right back to the home side. John Gross alongside Chris Nurse. Thrilled to have you joining us. Loudoun fresh off of a very competitive match against the league leaders in San Antonio. This their first fixture in 10 days. Meanwhile, Atlanta United 2. Winless in its last 9 matches. Their last win came on July 2nd against El Paso Locomotive.
And that's the challenge. When you haven't won for such a long period of time, it affects your mentality as a player, as a team, the atmosphere around the dressing room, the atmosphere around the staff that operate around the club. All of that has a negative impact when you're not winning games, because this is essentially why we're in this. That success, that feeling of winning is what drives us, you know, to continue to be better. So I think it's important, despite, you know, you mentioned the young age, that they're able to pick up a few wins coming into the postseason and take that confidence into whatever the plans are for the following year, because, you know, winning mentality is one of the biggest things that you can develop as a player.
We'll take a look at our keys to the game, brought to you by Country Buick GMC. Here's what we've kind of outlined heading into this one.
Yeah, for Loudoun, you know, decisions in the final third, you know, can they be more clinical? Can they make that decision in the final third? They've had some great performances, but they've not quite got the results that they've wanted, because they've not been as clinical as they possibly could have been in the final third. And limit the turnovers. You know, if they want to be a successful possession-based orientated team, they need to be able to keep possession of the ball well without turning it over unnecessarily. So in terms of the team performing better, I think there are 2 things that they can focus on. As we just spoke about for Atlanta, you know, the mentality of the players, the motivation. Can they keep a clean sheet? You know, they've conceded the most goals in the league this year. And can they get 3 points? It's been a long time now since they've had that feeling of winning a game. And I think it's vitally important for everybody attached to the organization to kind of get that winning feeling back.
Yeah, Atlanta United coming off of a 2-0 loss against the Miami FC. Match that they played with 10 men from the 31st minute on. Here's Jacob Green. Zane works centrally. Simonson. Simonson finds a pocket of space. Not for Zane.
Despite Loudoun having a lot of the possession, Atlanta have done a decent job in keeping their team shape, forcing Loudoun to play sideways and backwards passes, and keeping possession that's not necessarily going to hurt them. I think, as you saw there, they were almost at the edge of the attacking box and ended up all the way back at the goalkeeper. So,
lofted ball finds Zane in stride, takes some contact from behind. They play on. And now the whistle, a very delayed whistle from Gabriel Giusti. And it will be a penalty kick for Loudoun United.
And after defending so well when Loudoun were keeping possession of the ball, the one long pass over the top caught Atlanta United sleeping. And I think the referee's right. I think the challenge here is a shoulder into the back of the Loudoun attacker, and rightfully inside the box, it's always going to be a penalty.
It's Raymar who, funny enough, converted on a penalty kick the first time these two teams played, and now he has given a penalty kick to the opponents. And it's an opportunity for Tyler Freeman to net his 6th goal of this season and give his side an early cushion.
I think Raymar is right. He's tapping his shoulder. He did hit the player of his shoulder, but you cannot shoulder somebody in the back when they're ahead of you. If you're going to shoulder them, you have to be side by side.
Freeman buries it. Absolutely clinical. And the young man from Overland Park, Kansas, has his side in front early.
Cool, calm, and collected, this penalty kick. Just takes his time, so composed, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way into the side netting, and gives Loudoun a 1-0 lead in the opening 10 minutes of the game.
6 of the season for Tyler Freeman, and Loudoun United on the board first. And man, that must feel good to get an early goal in a matchup like this.
Feels very good to get that goal, but for Atlanta United, they probably feel like they have a mountain on their back. Down within the first 10 minutes of the game, we spoke about them having not won in their previous 9. You know, that feeling of, oh, it's going to be like this again. Now the players really have to dig deep to turn this around.
Zane has the takeaway. Loudoun looking for more. And a free kick in either direction.
It's going to be interesting to see if Loudoun keep taking advantage of that matchup on this right-hand side of the pitch between Raymar and Zane. Obviously, you saw Zane's speed and his ability to time his runs and getting behind. And I think that could be an Achilles heel for Atlanta throughout the course of this game.
Yeah, they continue to work that right flank. And the good news for Atlanta United, too, they do have a phenomenal player back in Jackson Conway. We talked about earlier, did not play the last 3 matches, but 6 goals in the season. They'll need him to step up now. Low cross, ricochets out for a first corner kick of the night for Atlanta United, too.
Yeah, and we spoke about Conway, but the first thing Atlanta United need to do is be able to get possession of the ball. So far in this opening 10 minutes, they've not had the ball to kind of make any meaningful build-up to find Conway in dangerous areas. So at the moment, he's been starved of service, starved of touches of the ball. Atlanta are going to have to try and gain some kind of sustained possession so that they can build up and try to find him in dangerous areas where he can make the opponents pay.
In swinging ball from Raymar, headed just wide, and a goal kick awarded.
Great opportunity to get back on level terms there. It's right in front of goal. It might have been harder to miss than to actually score. Not quite sure how that one's gone wide of the post, but that's a huge let off for Loudoun there. Marking on set pieces is something they're going to want to address quickly.
High press results in a takeaway, a low roll, and Zamudio has his first save of the evening.
I think that might have been Conway there just registering his first strike on goal. With his weaker foot, left foot wasn't the worst effort, but was never going to beat the keeper from that distance.
Conway, who has appeared 3 times this year with Atlanta United at the MLS level. Ball skipped in towards Zane. Pinballs its way out.
And for him as an individual, those appearances will give him tons of confidence, because when you know that your club or your organization or the head coach believes in you and gives you that time to play in the first team, you know, that's the kind of motivation that you need to drive you on to the next level. So for Jackson Conway individually, you know, I'm sure he has the belief.
Freeman taps it, turned away by Reyes. Second effort comes off the back line. And early on, Chris, it's been Loudoun United generating the chances.
Another great opportunity there to put themselves 2-0 in the lead. A great delivery from over on the left flank. Keeper came up with a huge save there. So the margin remains at just 1 goal.
Major denial by Reyes, who did not play in the last match against the Miami FC. It's been Reyes and Justin Garces who have seen the lion's share of time in net this season for Atlanta United, too. again trying to target that right flank. A little too much behind into the ball intended for Jacob Green.
There was that chance there from Freeman again to give his team 2-0 lead. Keeper timed his dive well and pushed it away.
Zane deflects it, ends up with Freeman. He scored to the PK. He wants more. Down he goes. And they play on. Zane got a foot in there. Could not maintain possession.
Freeman started this game well, but there is no chance that that was a penalty kick. Either the wind's blown him over or he's fallen over the ball, but there's no contact there that would have resulted in a free kick, in a penalty kick in that instance.
Orji able to cut off the attempted through ball. And this time it's Conway whistled.
Nice play there in the center of the park from Tiente there to work himself out of a tight situation.
Here's a look back at Freeman taking a tumble inside the 18. I'm with you on that, Chris.
Fair play for asking the referee for the decision, but no chance.
Elevated ball off the head of Robinson, and a throw into the way for the visitors, who are winless in their last 9 matches. But a win would catapult them over this Loudoun United side in the league standings.
And that's the goal. I think that's the kind of discussions that they'd want to be having with the number of games left. How can they finish up as high up the table as possible with the remaining games?
Traeger wiggles his way free. Zane able to clip it out, and another corner kick out of the way.
Frustrating there. I feel like Traeger could have kept going and cut the ball back to one of his teammates in a better position. He tries to cut back onto his right foot, and they don't end up getting a shot off when it was a really good opportunity to get a shot off on target.
Traeger, only a rookie. He was the 47th pick in the 2022 MLS Super Draft out of the Air Force Academy. Tied for the team leading goals this season with Jackson Conway. And swinging ball towards the near post. And cleared out of danger. As Freeman takes another tumble. Again, he'll look for the whistle to no avail.
Feels hard done by the double team by 2 defenders. But he's showing the right response here, just to get up, get on with it, try and win the ball back.
Raymar shanking up. Man who has been so critical to a lot of the attacking success that Atlanta United 2 have had this season.
Not sure whether he collided with his opponent's forearm if they clash heads. Wasn't so clear to see, but it's good to see he's up on his feet and ready to re-enter the game.
Static just to the midfield stripe. Conway unable to maintain possession. Here's Firmino. Switches wide. Brennan now. One of a slew of academy players on this Atlanta United 2 roster.
One of the keys to the game from Ryan Martin was that he wanted Loudoun to dictate the tempo of play and control the flow of the game. They did do that in the opening 10 minutes, hence they found themselves in the lead, but Atlanta are starting to get into it a little bit more over the course of the past 5 minutes. You can sense that confidence building. They've been dangerous from the couple of corner kicks that they've had. It's going to be interesting to see if they're able to test the goalkeeper fairly shortly and possibly get themselves an equalizer.
Is there anything you've seen differently from them compared to the early minutes of this one?
I think they're doing a good job of making the pitch a little bit wider in possession. They're stretching their opponents a little bit more and being a little less direct and being a little bit more patient in their build-up. Spoke too soon. It's a jinx. When you say something, the opposite always happens straight after.
The announcer's jinx. A tale as old as time, my friend. Zane fouls. It's Raymar who was the culprit.
That's been the matchup we've seen a lot in the opening stage of this game. Zane up against Raymar.
Raymar certainly somebody known for his attacking prowess. 4 goals, 4 assists this year. Had a brace against Loudoun United earlier in the season. Certainly being tested on the defensive end tonight.
It looks like in today's game he's being asked to do a lot more defensively. I'll be surprised if we see him get as high up the field as we do see him regularly with the back three. It looks like Atlanta are adopting tonight.
Firmino's cross sniffed out well, and a throw into the way. It was an 8th minute penalty kick conversion by Tyler Freeman that have the home side in front. Johnny Fortune lays it through. Lovely ball for Brennan. Brennan dances. Brennan gets his service and backside. Firmino tried the bicycle. A valiant effort.
It would have been phenomenal had he connected and the ball ended up in the back of the net. But when you don't connect and it just hits it looks ever so bad.
Just missed it.
As I said, when those go in, you know, everybody off their seat, standing ovation. But he had the opportunity to make another decision there and bring the ball down his chest and try to take a little longer to get a shot or lay somebody else in. It's all or nothing in that situation.
If he had converted that, it probably would have been
goal of the year.
Week. Maybe goal of the year.
Goal of the year.
I wouldn't put it past him, yeah. Fortune. Fortune loops it, looking for Brennan. And it will be yet another corner kick for the visitors. Third corner kick in the first 20+ minutes for Atlanta United 2.
Talking about formations, it looks like Loudoun tonight are playing with a 4-2-3-1, and Atlanta look like they've adopted a more normal 4-4-2 formation with Raymar operating on the left-hand side, Centeno on the right-hand side, Brennan on the right-hand side, and Conway and Traeger up top.
Conway's ball headed out of there. And these are two teams who have mixed up their formations quite a bit throughout this season.
And of course, both these rosters have that fluidity where players come up and down.
Yes.
So it's very difficult to know who's going to be in the starting lineup or who's going to play what position on a consistent basis, with so much changing from week to week in a positive way, because of course that's what the players want, the opportunity to be able to go up and down. And players who in the first team may not have played or come back from injury have the potential to come down and get minutes. And players who are performing down having the opportunity to go up and compete at a senior level. So that's the kind of fluidity that both teams enjoy.
Cross towards Freeman, called in by Reyes.
But it does come at a price in terms of having consistency and building units that play and train together on a consistent basis.
Absolutely, and both of these teams have had 34 players play at least 1 minute this season. Certainly a challenge, something that we talked to Ryan Martin about, the head man for Loudoun United, as Brennan works his way inside the 18, flicked on frame, what a finish! Jackson Conway, a special weight, and that is 7th of the season.
What a finish from Conway, and that's a player who's full of confidence. We spoke about his up and downs with the first team and his ability to score goals. He doesn't think twice about this finish. It's so instinctful. The ball comes in, just guides it on target into the back of the net. The keeper had no chance because he was racked into something that he wasn't expecting. What a finish there from Conway. We saw the flamboyant effort earlier, the bicycle kick that didn't get the connection it did. However, on this occasion, Conway did get the connection that he wanted, and he gets his team back into the game, 1-1.
A brilliant conversion, and if anybody was going to do it, it probably would be that guy, Jackson Conway. 22nd minute equalizer.
When you're an individual full of confidence, sometimes these things just happen. You don't know, sometimes it's hard to explain. When you look back on it, you just did it. It was just an instinct. You didn't really think about it. And I think that'll be one of those goals that he just reacted. He didn't really think about it too much. He just knew what he wanted to do, and it just happened. I think that's something that happens when players are full of confidence sometimes. Things seem to be going your way.
And going his way, it certainly is after that finish. Tremendous conversion as Zane rolls it through. Pretty well-placed ball. And Tiente has the interception.
And this hasn't started off as the lackluster affair that we may have anticipated with two teams out of the playoffs. This is a fairly aggressive encounter. Both teams pushing themselves, trying to maximize the opportunity to get themselves, number one, a win for their team, but to catch the eye of the head coach and potentially get themselves the opportunity to be called up to the senior level. Both teams giving their maximum efforts right now, which is it's good to see.
Raymar had the ball in a dangerous area, but could not maintain. Long feed for Zane. Got a head on it, comes back to Freeman.
We spoke about the matchup on this right-hand side. Whenever it seems Loudoun have played the ball longer over the top into the pathway of Zane, he's won that individual battle almost every single time.
And it's one that led to that penalty kick opportunity in the early goings, which was converted by Tyler Freeman.
And this is where tactically you can see whether they're intentful in keeping the ball around the halfway line or a little bit deeper so that they can bring Atlanta high up the field and exploit the space behind. It's harder to get Zane in behind them when they're dropping into a deeper line, but once they get the ball deeper and they move side to side, that's when they're able to exploit them and use the pace of Zane to maximal effect.
Simonson slips it wide, was looking for a streaking Jacob Green.
That's one of those unforced turnovers that Coach Ryan Martin was talking about. You know, good possession of the ball there from Loudoun. It's just a lackluster, lazy pass to nobody that just turns over possession to Atlanta.
Well, that was certainly one of the things that he highlighted to us earlier this week. That and the importance of his side playing on their front foot, which we certainly saw early. But the tide has certainly turned a bit since Loudoun scored that goal.
Goals change games, and Atlanta getting that goal has most certainly changed the momentum of this game so far. Early in the game, it was very much Loudoun had control and were dominating possession. But Atlanta then had a little spell where they were getting hold of the ball and moving it well. And since they got the goal, they started to look far more lively.
Brennan works it wide. Centeno moves it back for Johnny Fortune, the captain of this team.
I love seeing players in wide areas in 1v1 situations who are brave enough to pick up the ball and try and take players on. You know, you're not going to win that battle every time. You're going to make mistakes. Sometimes the defender's going to get the better of you. But you're only going to make something happen if you're brave enough to take that ball and try and take him on it and try and make something happen for your team. I think we see a lot of players who get into wide areas and play safe. You know, you want those exciting wingers that get fans up off their seat, because every time they get the ball, they want to be aggressive, they want to attack, they want to create something.
Certainly some skilled wing players in this one, especially Reimar. He's somebody who Ryan Martin talked about, had certainly some concern over the way that he's able to really attack and find his way into some dangerous areas.
Unlucky on that occasion, but that's where Loudoun have been successful. They keep possession, they go back to the goalkeeper, and then once Atlanta get their defensive line up to the halfway line, then they try to exploit the space behind them. Unfortunately, that pass wasn't really good enough, and there wasn't really a well-timed run on the receiving end of it. But that's where Loudoun have exploited the space on this right-hand side with Zane.
It's been Zane on that right wing and Samaki on that left flank.
Both teams guilty of giving away possession a little bit easy right now. Just lumping balls forward without any real quality in the direction of anybody making a well-timed run. Just turning over possession.
Downs. Wide for Samaki. High press from Atlanta. Robinson surges ahead. Zane now. Zane feed came off the referee, Gabriel Giusti, and that certainly warrants a stoppage. Try to make sure you're out of the way as much as you can, but sometimes the ball just finds you.
Yeah, I think that was Zane's mishit pass more so than the referee being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Freeman. Whips in across. Nobody in the vicinity of that ball, as Reyes has no trouble and quickly disposes of it. Traeger went down. No whistle. And the offside flag was raised. Get a look at it, Johnny Fortune getting his 2 cents in. There's Jack Collison, who took over as the Atlanta United 2 head coach back in June 2021. A playing career highlighted by some time with West Ham United, 121 appearances in the Premier League and the Championship in his native England.
And what a player like Jack Collison can bring to young players who want to make it. There's no one better to learn from than somebody who's been there and done it as a player and climbed the ranks as a youngster and learned the little nuances, the little details that it takes to make it to the top. There's one thing having talent. It's a complete different animal when you're trying to make it to the top, and what it takes on a daily basis in terms of consistency, sacrifices, preparation. So what he's able to give these players in terms of guidance and advice is probably unique and special. And I'm sure the players appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, to have somebody who, like you said, he's been there, he's done that at the highest of levels. An incredibly valuable addition. Somebody who's been around this organization for some time, but again, in just his first full season as the head man for Atlanta United 2.
It's always interesting, you know, what's deemed success for a coach who's coaching, say, an MLS second team, for example. You know, is it just developing players who can go on and play in the first team, or is it winning games, which is predominantly how we understand to get the game to be about? It's all about winning, irrespective of sometimes how the team performs. So it's always interesting to see whenever a coach has got 9 games without winning a game. Of course, it brings a level of instability and insecurity for everybody, because evidently at some point there'll be changes. But if the measuring stick is pushing players to the next level, then maybe, you know, he's achieving his performance indicators. You never know.
And I'd imagine that's something that each club certainly sets out with their manager entering the season, what their priorities are.
But as we spoke about earlier, I think a winning mentality, you can't produce a winning mentality by losing.
Right.
So
absolutely,
evidently, whatever team you're playing in, you want to be winning, because that breeds confidence, and confidence obviously allows players to perform better. So, you know, I always believe that irrespective of age, the focus is always on obviously implementing your style, but implementing your style with a purpose to win games.
Raymar paces ahead. Raymar lets it rip. Tucks it just wide.
It's not a bad effort at all there from Raymar. Does ever so well, picks up the ball in the center of the park and drives forward, and you see the little bit of hesitation that he has there on his weaker foot, his right foot, but he decides to hit it anyway, and that's not far away at all. Could see the keeper scrambling across his goal, just wide of the upright. Good effort from Raymar there, driving his team forward, bringing positive energy.
Well, he did it twice against Loudoun United when these two teams met earlier this season. Was named League Player of the Week for his performance. And nearly netted the go-ahead goal in the mid to late portion of this first half. Simonson finds Sane. Nifty 1-2.
Looked far worse than it was. It's a good tackle there.
And a stoppage here as Simonson, who delivered that tackle, is now in some pain. Take a look back at this. Like I said, it did look clean.
You'd think Raymar would be on the worser end of that, but there wasn't any malice intended. It's actually well timed. Hopefully he's able to shake it off, whatever injury he's struggling with there.
Simonson, the Norwegian midfielder, a third-round pick for DC United after a standout collegiate career at SMU and St. John's. And a promising sign as he's able to walk off the pitch on his own power. He's somebody who has had a very nice season this far. Had an assist against San Antonio, assisted Moses Nyman's goal, and is the team leader in helpers this season. Get a look at Vicente Reyes, who did not play against the Miami FC. Looking for his first win of the season. 0-7-2 is his team's record when he gets the start in net. Signed his first pro contract back in January after spending a significant amount of time with the Atlanta United Academy. Raymar lays it through for Firmino. Long toss from Raymar. Headed centrally. Tante was in the vicinity.
Great opportunity there for Atlanta to take the lead. Had somebody just been anticipating that flick on, would have been one of the easiest finishes ever. However, there was no one in the area right in front of goal just to tap it in. It's a huge little for Loudoun, but great opportunity there for Atlanta to take the lead. Raymar again showing the range of qualities that he's bringing to this team. If it's not dangerous deliveries from corner kicks, it's delivering a throw on that's almost as good as a corner kick. He's definitely been one of the top performers for Atlanta United so far in his first half, despite giving away that early PK, of course.
And forget about doing a little bit of everything. He could do a lot of everything. The Brazilian, who is oh so dangerous. Sargis elevates, finds the foot of Green. Zane rolls for Freeman. Zane. Freeman once more.
Loudoun doing a good job of keeping the ball in the final third and keeping Atlanta under pressure.
Low cross from Green. Skips off the legs of Orji.
Just needed exactly what the coach asked for. A little bit better quality in decision making in the final third. They've got good possession. The ball into the box needs to be quality towards a teammate or into a dangerous area. The ball that Green delivered there, it's almost like turning over possession needlessly. Just be a little bit more patient.
Zane goes down, and there is the whistle. So a free kick on the way for Loudoun United.
It's Raymar again, and you know, that's 2, 3, 4 fouls against Zane. It's only a matter of time before he's going to go into the referee's book. And then that matchup is going to become even more interesting because Raymar is going to have to be a little bit more thoughtful in the challenges that he makes.
There is the aforementioned Raymar, who's been very busy both sides of the pitch tonight. It's Jeremy Garay and Abdul Zane who stand over it.
Looking at Zane's run-up, I'd be surprised if he would be the one to strike this.
And you would be correct. Sneaks through for Sargis. Pardon me, Robinson. Green finds a pocket of space and launches it out for a goal kick.
And there's that quality decision-making in the final third that you're asking for. Good possession, time on the ball, and balloons it out for a goal kick rather than a quality delivery into somebody making a well-timed run.
Traeger caught offside. Inside the final few minutes of this first half.
I think both coaches will be fairly pleased with what they've seen from both their teams in the first half. I think there's definitely room for improvement for both teams, and especially just being a little bit more patient in the attack and not getting frustrated and playing those hopeful long passes or hopeful balls behind that aren't really well timed or thought out. Just be a little bit more patient in the build-up and more quality in the final third. When they get into those areas, you know, take a little bit more time to make a quality pass or a quality decision.
Yeah, this was a match that got off to a very quick start. You had the penalty kick in the first 10 minutes, converted by Tyler Freeman. Just a little bit later, 22nd minute, Jackson Conway scored a beautiful goal. For Centeno. Raymar lifts ahead.
It's not a bad idea there from Raymar. You could see what he's trying to do.
Robinson shanked it a bit at the clearance attempt. Centeno. Tiente. Zane able to cut off the extended feed.
It'll be interesting to see if either team's able to steal a goal here before half-time.
Well, this could help for Atlanta United 2's cause. Free kick, but Brennan is slow to his feet.
And wouldn't be surprised to see Raymar on this set-piece delivery. Atlanta United have looked dangerous from set-pieces so far in this first half. Interested to see if they can make this one count with just 2 minutes left of regulation time before the half-time break.
If Brennan, the Atlanta native who is an academy player for this side, is holding that right leg of his, and he'll get checked on by the medical staff. Little limpy on his way off. Appears as if he is getting set to re-enter, though. It is Raymar and Traeger. It is taken by Raymar. Headed just to the top of the 18. Comes back inside towards Tiente. Lofted ball, looking for Orji. Zane, the first one to it. And is able to boot it over the touchline.
Dangerous dip-in delivery there from Raymar. He's been good on set pieces so far in this first half.
Another long toss from Raymar on the way. Dangerous throw. As you see, 3 minutes of out of time to wind down this first 45. That's been an exciting first 45 minutes.
Yeah, now it's just about game management going into these final couple of minutes. The last thing either team wants to do at this stage is concede a goal. So very thoughtful man management and game management. Give the coaches a chance to regroup, re-strategize how they're going to approach the second half. After the first half, you often have a clear idea of where your opponents are weak and where you can take advantage of and where you've been strong for. So I think that's what both coaches will be looking for in the closing stage of this game, is just to ensure that they go in without going down a goal, where they can revisit things and obviously rebuild for the second half.
Tony Tiente just lost it. Freeman and Orji whistled.
Strong tackle. I think they just, even though he obviously you see he gets a lot of the ball, he carries on driving forward the ball. I think it's now classed as excessive force, maybe referees call that in that situation. It was a good thing if Freeman was aware of it and kind of moved himself out of it. Had he had his back turned to play, and Orji came with that kind of energy, can offer them pretty badly. But part of being a player is being aware of people coming and challenging you in game situations. So all plays into being a good player.
Fortune looks to lead the break. And could not be controlled by Traeger. Simonson weaves through traffic. Simonson cut off by Orji. There's another strong sliding tackle by the center back.
Good unorthodox defending. He actually laid down before the ball and the player got to him, anticipating the direction that Simonson was running in. Was able to steal possession for his team.
Hey, if it works, I guess.
Come on, guys, let's get it down. Let's go.
Simonson looking for a late half goal. Won't have one here.
And I imagine that should be just about it for regulation time in the first half.
And there is the whistle. 1-1 is the score. Loudoun United got on the board first, but it was a fairly quick response by Atlanta United 2. And we are deadlocked at the break. We'll have halftime highlights, stats, and so much more after this. Don't go anywhere. USL Championship live on ESPN+.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
Back here in Leesburg, Virginia, 1-1 is the score at the break. Loudoun United FC and Atlanta United 2 deadlocked through 45 minutes. Happy to have you with us. Now, one player who we did not see in the first half, but who has made a big impact this season is this young man. Our Players Spotlight, Abdelatif Abukora. He's 17 years old and a homegrown player from Fairfax, Virginia. Abukora recently participated in the U20 Arab Cup with the Egyptian national team and made it all the way to the final before falling to Saudi Arabia just 2 weeks ago. The forward has appeared in 7 matches for Loudoun United and has netted 4 goals. That is good for the second most on the club. He is available today. We'll see if Abukora has some action. This is a look at the upcoming schedule for Loudoun United FC. As you see, they go on the road to wrap up this month. Then they start off September with the home match and then a couple more road matches. So a fairly tough stretch coming up as they have a lot of travel in the near future for this Loudoun United club. Again, 2 road matches coming up, home, and then again on the road for a couple more. And it's really a completely different story for Atlanta United 2. They take on Pittsburgh next Saturday, the first of 3 consecutive home matches down in Kennesaw, Georgia. Then they travel down to South Florida, taking on Miami FC. And then another home match to end the month of September against an Indy 11 side who is also in the bottom portions of the Eastern Conference standings. Well, it is 1-1 at the break. Certainly an interesting first half. They got off to a lightning fast start. Should be a fun second half as well. We'll have highlights, stats, and so much more coming up after this on ESPN+.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals. I'm on that routine. I'm on that routine.
Halftime here in Virginia. Happy to have you with us on ESPN+. 1-1 is the score at the break between Loudoun United and Atlanta United 2. Well, we're certainly winding down the USL Championship 2022 season. With that, things are definitely heating up. And we'll take a look at the recent news and notes from across the USL Championship. And the big story recently was the USL team in Rhode Island. A beautiful stadium on a waterfront. Could host a club as early as 2024. I'd recommend that you go out and check out the renderings of that because it is going to be a special venue. And the Cup set run continues. Sacramento Republic FC putting the USL on its back. A run all the way to the finals. And that much anticipated matchup with Orlando City will take place in early September. And Rick Schantz, the head coach, longtime head coach of Phoenix Rising FC, who had a tremendous career in the desert, They have parted ways with Rick after 5 seasons. Danny Stone is now the interim head coach with Phoenix Rising FC. And a look at the upcoming schedule on, again, all these matches can be seen on ESPN+. This is a look at tonight. A lot of matchups out west. And hey, like I said before, we're at that point of the season where we're inching closer to the postseason. Points are at a premium at this point in the year, and there are a couple of teams that you see on your screen who are at or near that playoff line that would absolutely love to pick up some points this evening. Well, 2 teams who would love to pick up points as well are level at 1. A couple of teams in the lower portion of the Eastern Conference, but they want wins nonetheless. 1-1 the score at the break. We'll have halftime, highlights, stats, and kickoff after this on ESPN+.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
Then, if it just both goals.
The first one, then the show replay of it, right?
Halftime in Leesburg, Virginia. We are deadlocked at a goal apiece. A first half that got off to a scorching hot start. Some early goals from these 2 sides. And as we make our way towards the second half, should be a fun second half as well. John Gross alongside Chris Nurse. And speaking of the first half, we'll take a look back at the half that was between these 2 sides. And we start things off very early, 7th minute, and this is where the first opportunity came for Loudoun United.
Yeah, we see exploiting that space behind, onto the ball nice and quick. Zane draws the PK. Referee took a little bit longer than he may have liked to make the decision, but I think he made the right decision. Raymer here with the shoulder into the back, and Freeman makes no mistake, burying this into the side net and send the goalkeeper the wrong way, gives his team the lead 1-0.
6th goal of the season for Mr. Freeman in the 8th minute. A dream start for the home side, no doubt about it. Opposite way of Reyes. And then a little bit later on, 22nd minute, it's Brennan creating some space, taking on a couple of defenders. And how about this finish? Jackson Conway, electric to tie it.
When players are on confidence, magical things happen. And here we see just an instinct finish from Conway. Ball's behind him, just guides it on target. Keeper waving to his family in the crowd. No chance getting anywhere close to it. Into the back of the net. Atlanta level, 1-1.
Conway will celebrate his 7th goal of the season and missed the last 3 matches. And what a way to get back into the lineup. And we'll take a look at the first half stats as well. Chris, anything jump out to you?
You know, Ryan Martin spoke this week about his team being a little bit more purposeful in possession. And they've had a decent amount of possession in this game. You can see they've actually outpossessed Atlanta substantially. But I feel like they need to make more happen with that possession. More shots on target, more opportunities created. They've been decent in the final third, but I think they've rushed the final pass and turned over possession. It critical moments just a little too often.
For our special group shout out, we would like to thank.
So there you have it, the first half that was between these two sides. Both teams make their way back out onto the pitch. They had a chance to regroup, readjust, recover in the dressing rooms. Chris, any adjustments you'd want to see these two sides make?
I think that it's been a fairly decent first half, just as we spoke about. In the final third, just take that little bit, take the extra second to make a better decision. You know, whether it's being the delivery into the box, whether it's allowing somebody timing to make the run to get onto the ball, or if it's just restarting and keeping possession and rotating the ball to the other side. Just in the final third, both teams a little bit more composed and methodical in their approach.
And here comes a change for Loudoun United to kickstart the second half. It's Husso Landry, the midfielder from Cote d'Ivoire, who will enter for the home side. 19th appearance of the season for Landry. And he replaces Skage Simonsen. Substitution is brought to you by Segra. And once again, it is Husso Landry who heads on for Skage Simonsen. Teams will switch sides, and it's Atlanta United 2 in the black kits, Loudoun United in the whites. Second meeting of the season between these two clubs. The first one was a little bit more lopsided than this one has been. A 2-0 victory in favor of Atlanta United 2. And with a win, the visitors would catapult Loudoun United for that 11th spot in the Eastern Conference standings. And away we go. 45 minutes in the books. 45 minutes left to play. Happy to have you with us on ESPN+. John Gross alongside the former captain of the Guyana national team, Chris Nurse.
And of course, there's a lot of pressure. Not a lot of pressure, but the onus is on Atlanta United tonight to try and pick up 3 points, and they have 45 minutes to do so. They haven't done it previously in the previous 9 games. You know, can they turn that around tonight?
Not only winless in their last 9, but they've lost 3 in a row and have been outscored 10-1 over the last 3 matches. As this ball is raced down to that final third.
And of course, this Loudoun United defense hasn't necessarily been the most solid defense this season. They've come off some pretty hefty defeats. They've conceded 20 goals in the last 8 games, which is, you know, almost 3 goals a game. So there's potential there for there to be more goals in this game for Atlanta.
Zane, gifted ball, and Landry, fresh on as a substitute, blasted off target.
Yeah, you could see his body balance was all wrong as he hit this ball. He was leaning way, way, way back. A lot of power on it, but not much accuracy at all. But a giveaway in the back line there for Atlanta. Gave the ball to Loudoun to create the opportunity. Need to take a little bit more care in possession when they're building out from the back.
Now, you mentioned before Loudoun United struggling in terms of conceding goals. They've allowed the 5th most goals in USL Championship this season.
And they've been on the end of a heavy thumping, I think, at the hands of Birmingham Legion a few weeks ago.
Here's Brennan, driven ball, pops out to the foot of Centeno, and deflects out for a goal kick. And on the flip side, 68 goals allowed this season for Atlanta United 2. Get a look at Centeno, who has been a key piece of this team on a season-long loan from the first team of Atlanta United.
They had some heavy defeats from Birmingham Legion. Loudoun United lost 6-1. Tampa Bay Rowdies, they lost 4-1. San Antonio, obviously one of the strongest teams. They lost by a small margin of just 2-1. But they definitely, you know, have a habit of conceding multiple goals during games.
You mentioned that San Antonio performance. That was the most recent match 10 days ago. And Ryan Martin said that he was pleased with the growth that he saw, acknowledged that it's a very tough place to play against one of the top teams in this league. But he said to finish both halves well, They got a goal to end the first half and nearly had an equalizer in second half stoppage time. He said that's a tremendous statement.
Yeah, of course, you know, the mentality of the team, especially to keep going. You're already kind of at a deficit when you're competing against a team like San Antonio, who by far probably championship contenders for the regular season and probably strong for the postseason. Also, the players are able to elevate their game and perform, but you're judged by what you do consistently, week in, week out, and not just on the off occasion. And I think if you look at their goal differential, it's not been good enough on a consistent basis. Yes, you only conceded 2 to San Antonio, but there's a reason why you have the highest, one of the highest goals conceded throughout the league, because on a consistent basis it hasn't quite been there. But there's positive steps that they're making going forward, and you know, you hope they continue with that momentum.
Sargis able to settle. So goes down.
Just felt the contact there from Conway. He's been active in spells throughout the course of this game. You know, he hasn't gripped the game by the scruff of the neck, but when he has had the opportunity, he's been deadly. You know, I think the first half he might have had 2 shots on goal. One of them was
low blast into the hands of Reyes.
The strike that gave his team the equalizer, but he hasn't had an electric performance tonight, I would say. But we also spoke about the fact that his team has only had 36% of the possession, right? It doesn't allow him to have as many touches on the ball as he would like, or find himself in dangerous areas of the field as much as he'd like. I think if Atlanta are able to possess the ball a little bit more, we may see more of Conway in terms of build-up, play, in terms of link-up and opportunities created.
So Landry jockeys and wins it back for his side. The substitute with fresh legs as Freeman slips it through. Zane gives chase, and Orji cuts it out for a throw.
Nice play there from Loudoun United.
Look back at this last shot just moments ago from Samaki.
Just trying to bend it into the far corner, but just didn't get enough whip on it as he would have liked, and Reyes was able to get down and claim that one fairly easily.
So just over 50 minutes through, and a corner kick on the way. Finds the back post, a one-hopper into the hands of Reyes. Conway slips it through, well-placed ball, options inside the box. Firmino heads it wide. He'll want that one back. Seemed to be a surefire conversion. It's a goal kick instead.
I wish Firmino put this into the back of the net, just to teach a lesson to Loudoun United. I'm watching Atlanta United attack, and I'm watching players jogging to get back into possession, not necessarily sprinting and getting it back into their team shape as quick as possible, jogging. And the only way you learn in that situation is when you're punished for not getting back into shape as quick as possible. There's a great opportunity there for Atlanta to take the lead. But you want to see a better attitude and better intensity from Loudoun United when they don't have possession of the ball to get back into their team shape quicker. I think a few players taking it for advantage that they don't think that they're going to be punished, and the chance is going to go into the back of the net.
Well, they very nearly were punished. Firmino could not convert. Perhaps another build-up in the works now. It is the aforementioned Firmino.
It's always interesting because when you watch teams training, you watch them get into defensive shape when they don't have possession in training. It always looks perfect. Then you watch in game day and you watch the defensive shape and the transition when they don't have possession, and it looks nothing like it. And it's just the attitude and the mentality of the players when they don't have possession. You either get as quick as you can and bust yourself to get into shape, or you don't, and you take it for granted that the other team isn't going to score, or you're going to win back possession, or one of your defenders is going to bail you out. And on the occasions when that doesn't happen, the other team actually goes and scores, this is when you're held accountable, and you go back and you review the video, and you see players are not in the shape that they're supposed to be. And then they learn off the back of those mistakes. But I think that was a huge let-off for Loudoun in that situation.
Zane Finds some space off a beautiful ball, back to Freeman. And it's a handball and another penalty kick on the way. A yellow card issued.
And if there is Raymer, I think he can count himself very lucky to still be on the field.
I believe it's Orji who's been booked. And remember, we saw this in the first half. He kind of just plopped down and was able to block a ball. And there it is.
You're right, it is Orji, it's not Raymer, but what a fantastic pass there from Loudoun. Just breaks through all the lines. And we've spoken about the pace of Zane all night, but that's a great timed run. The ball was perfect. And Orji Nelson goes into the book here with a yellow card for a save I think the goalkeeper would be proud of.
So Freeman, whose shot resulted in the handball by Orji, has 1 goal already from the penalty spot. And this time it's Zane who readies to take it. 2 goals this season. It's a save, what a stop. Zane tries to pop it back to the middle. He'll do just that, but to no avail. What a stop by Reyes. Half volley, and it's another save from Reyes.
And it's another of those situations where if it goes in the back of the net, great. But when it doesn't come off, it is awful, right? Because you had the opportunity to give your team the lead and you tried to do something a little bit clever instead of burying it in the back of the net, and the goalkeeper made it look fairly easy in the end. He had a lot of time. I think he was on the floor and he was still able to put a hand up and make the save as the ball approached the net. So definitely a chance wasted there by Zane from the penalty spot for his team. Going to be interested to see his response now, because it will be on his shoulders to make amends for that.
Stellar save by Vicente Reyes. Joined the Atlanta United Academy in 2016. He's represented Chile on the youth national level. Robinson slides in to maintain it. Landry finds a pocket of space and blasts it over the crossbar.
Yeah, there's no conviction in the strike. He doesn't really hit it towards the corner, just kind of floats it at the goalkeeper. And the goalkeeper makes a fairly straightforward save in that situation.
Conway angles over the touchline quickly in the throw-in.
It's interesting that they changed penalty takers halfway through the game, right? Normally, the team has a designated PK taker, and that's the person who consistently takes them irrespective of who may have won the free kick or the opportunity in the first place. Of course, every team manages themselves differently, but it's a chance that you want to make sure that you take advantage of. Having seen the build-up play, create the opportunity to get the penalty kick, the last thing you want to do is turn it over in that kind of manner. But now it's interesting to see Zane's response and see how he reacts to that situation.
Raymar's toss worked out of the 18. It was Zane's first penalty kick attempt of the season. It was also Freeman's first attempt of the year.
Well, Zane has won both penalties for his team tonight.
He has. He's been a critical player for his side. Ball trickles through to the aforementioned Zane. Zane dances. Back for Downs. A little offline.
Just that final pass. Had it been in the path of Downs, he would have been able to strike it first time.
Freeman directly at Reyes. Sargis. Freeman able to make a turn, wiggles past Orji. Freeman one-on-one with Reyes. Was another stop. Samaki in the follow. Ricochets out for a corner.
Great play there from Freeman. Just needed somebody to anticipate the rebound there when the keeper makes that save. He parries it down right in front of goal. Had anybody just been anticipating that, it would have been one of the easiest tap-ins to give his team the lead. But great play there from Freeman, receiving the ball on the turn and creating the opportunity for him to get the strike on goal.
6th save of the night for Reyes, who is now a save away from 50 in the season. Third corner of the night. It is Zane's ball. That deflects off of Brennan, and another corner kick on the way.
Not the best first delivery there from Zane, but he'll get a second chance at it.
This time Zane plays it short. Downs. Freeman turns and blasts low. No trouble for Reyes, who has 7 saves tonight. Brennan chips wide for Conway. A duo hooked up on a goal in the first half. Driven ball. Downs battles with Firmino. Raymar scoots it centrally. Robinson wins the header.
Good defending there from Robinson.
How about that tackle from Tiente, who lets it fly? And a diving stop from Zamudio.
Great tackle there from Tiente, but that ambitious effort from that distance was always going to have to be phenomenal to beat the goalkeeper from that distance.
Zamudio has not had to do all too much tonight. 2 saves for the keeper, who we highlighted in the pre-match.
Yeah, he's definitely been the lesser the active of the 2 keepers so far in this game.
I'd say
but there's
so.
still a ton of time left to play.
Freeman.
Tons of potential in both of these teams. It's just that little bit of experience that they're lacking that teaches you how to win games. You can see they have the technical ability, they have the energy, the ideas.
Downs. Sargis. Robinson goes down. And we'll look back once again at the penalty sequence. This is that lovely through ball.
Great pass there through breaking lines. Zane using his energy and pace to get behind. Defender does a great job to block it, but uses his hand. And Zane here with this ambitious effort. The keeper makes look straightforward and unfortunately is unable to give his team the lead from the PK spot.
Entry this time unable to sneak it through. Luke Brennan. Centeno, a lot of space to work with. Leaves it off for Traeger. Centeno's cross. No one on the receiving end. But comes right back to Centeno. Raymar. Centeno steps over. Centeno pops it, back post. And Conway lets it roll out for a throw.
Brennan, obviously a player who's come through the academy. I remember having seen him play at GA Cup and some of the MLS Next showcases with the Atlanta United U17s. Tons of potential, tons of energy, good in 1v1 situations, and you see flashes of that in moments throughout the game tonight. But it's so good to see young players competing in a professional level against senior pros at such a young age. It's so phenomenal, and it helps so much with their development and decision making and the speed of play and all the good things that come when you're playing professional against grown men. So having a fairly decent performance tonight.
Firmino. And it's worked out of there. Now these are both teams full of very young players. Atlanta United 2 in particular, they've had 6 academy players who have debuted for their Atlanta United 2 side this season alone, which is a single season record in club history. And a delayed whistle. And a free kick on the way for Atlanta United 2.
Referee not happy with the challenge there from Zane.
Orji, a bit slow to his feet. The man who picked up the yellow card earlier has been a critical piece of this back line lately. He's got the full 90 the last 4 matches that he's played. The Nigerian who made his way through the FC Porto Academy. So a free kick on the way. Chris, really outside of that goal, the lion's share of opportunities have come off of corner kicks and set pieces.
And we spoke about how dangerous Atlanta United have looked from set pieces and corners and free kicks that be delivered into the box. Be interested to see if they can make one of these count.
Reimar, curling ball, trickles through unscathed.
Reimar's deliveries have been on point tonight. There's just nobody making that far post run. Had there been somebody in that area, it would have been a fairly straightforward strike onto goal. But just nobody was in that area that he delivered it. But again, balls delivered into dangerous areas and nobody on the end of them.
Samaki plays it through, a foot race to it, and it's jarred out by Reimar. This time getting it done at the defensive end. Corner kick on the way. The Brazilian who's just 20 years old. Which, hey, compared to some of his teammates, that's like an old man.
But he does play with it. He plays with a lot of maturity for just a 20-year-old player. He does play like a more senior player. Some of his decision making, his timing. His quality in possession of the ball.
Samaki readies from the corner flag. Low in front, parent club DC United. Samaki's ball finds the head of Orji. And whisked out of there. Ends up with Green. Ahead for Freeman.
You can hear the Atlanta United bench calling for offside. The linesman did put the flag up for offside. However, the referee has allowed play to continue and allowed them to continue to build the attack.
Freeman loops ahead to Green. Green tries to work it to the middle, and it comes off of Bryce Washington for another Loudoun corner kick.
And if it was offside, possession should have been turned over to Atlanta. However, Loudoun has been allowed to keep possession of the ball and sustain that pressure in the final third, and now they have a corner kick that could potentially prove to be the difference.
Downs works it short. It's Samaki with plenty of space. Comes back out to Galsu Samaki.
Atlanta still haven't been able to relieve that pressure that they've been under for the past couple of minutes.
Searching ball from Freeman. Pops out. Samaki got a touch on it. Landry now. Landry curls it goalward. Tapped in. An unorthodox finish, but a goal nonetheless. And it's 2-1 Loudoun United.
Atlanta United would be absolutely livid because this all comes from the offside decision that doesn't get given. Loudoun able to sustain possession and pressure, and as a result of it, they end up getting the goal that puts them in the lead. See here, just a little bit of patience to run again. Orji turns this in the back of his net, but we see that connection again from Husu to Zani making those runs. Clever ball forward. Defender turns it into his own net past his goalkeeper. Reyes will be absolutely livid. Not just with the finish, but with the inability to close down Husu and stop him from being able to play that ball forward. Loudoun United in the lead, 2-1.
Disaster for Orji in this back line. Jubilation for Loudoun United. You got this sense that a breakthrough would come, and it has come just shy of the 70th minute, and a change on the way. Abdul Zane, who was a little bit shaken up after that goal, comes off. He's replaced by a fellow countryman from Cote d'Ivoire in Zoumana Diarra. Substitution is brought to you by Segra.
Be interesting to see who got the final touch on the ball, whether it's given to Zane or whether it goes down as an own goal.
It is officially an own goal by Orji.
Assist to number 19, Husu Landry.
Husu Landry has had a phenomenal impact on the game since he came in at halftime. He's been involved in everything going forward. Key passes, breaking lines, and creating opportunities for his teammates.
And a chance to add to this advantage. Numbers pushing forward as Diarra halts things up on that right flank.
Just wonder why Diarra slowed up there. He should have just kept going. There was tons of space in front of him.
Number 7, Abdul Zane. Entering the match, number 12, Zoumana Diarra. All substitutions are
So 20 minutes to go. You have a lead if you're Loudoun United. Do you change anything?
I mean, at this phase of the season for both teams, you want to see them continue to play, attacking, exciting soccer. You want to see them continue to make runs forward. It makes the game wide open, but neither team has much to lose. You want to see the players be able to go out there and express themselves and play free with a lot of confidence. So, of course, we spoke about getting wins, but also expressing their style of play. And I think we've seen since Landry's come into the game, an ability of a player to pick up the ball in the middle of the park and find players making runs forward. And I think that maybe was lacking earlier, but he's definitely had a good impact, and it's interesting to see if they can continue to find him with the ball and then for him to find players in dangerous areas.
Freeman in a dangerous area as we speak. Downs turns, finds Diarra, back to Downs, a long blast off the back of Raymar.
And you see that confidence now building a little bit more chemistry with the Loudoun team. Players making 1-2s, little flicks around the corner, creating opportunities for each other. That confidence is now spreading them out beyond everybody.
Raymar able to cut off that through ball. Still ample time for the visitors to net that equalizer. A side that entered today winless in 9 straight as the back heel.
Nice build-up play there from Atlanta United.
Brennan now. Centeno lifts it. Falls to Conway.
Conway way out wide, but as the goal scorer that he is, he wants to find himself central in between the sticks where he has a good opportunity to score goals in those wide areas. He's not going to be that dangerous, and this is where Loudoun will be happy to see him out there because he's not a goal threat from that area. Yes, he might provide assists for other players, but him converting is the main danger.
Raymar, unsuccessful nutmeg attempt of Jacob Green. One touch forward. Orji has to be careful. He's ready on a yellow card. Diarra. Landry, who has made a major impact since entering at the break as a substitute.
Landry's been very impressive how Landry's performed since he's come into this game.
Freeman finds a pocket of space, knocks it for Samaki. Landry lets it rip, and it's another stop from Reyes.
The power he's able to generate in that strike from such a short lift back. He hits it with outside swing on it too, so it bends away from the goalkeeper. It wasn't a bad effort at all. But just reinforcing, you know, the impact that he's had since he's come into the game. He's definitely helped Loudoun to take things up a level. And here you see him finding space and the ability to find the ball, turn and play forward.
It's Landry's first time playing professionally in the United States. Previously played for ASI Aben Guru of his native Cote d'Ivoire. Bounce ball intended for Freeman. Cut away well by Orji. Conway leads the charge. Conway turned away. It's Zamunio, who has not been called upon very much tonight, but comes up with a critical save.
And there's the greed that you love to see in strikers, but always in that situation, his teammate was in a better position off to the right-hand side. Had he slid him in, pretty certainly would have had an easier finish, but you can't knock Conway in that situation for wanting to get the strike off himself and get the goal. But great opportunity there for Atlanta to get on level terms once again. And
on the opposite way, a yellow card has been issued to Bryce Washington. The center back has been booked, and you see a change of pace on the way.
A yellow card has been issued in the 75th minute to Atlanta United 2's number 12.
Check that. It was Ramar who was issued the yellow card. And here is the Segra substitution as Samaki comes off. And it's Abdelatif Abukara who replaces him. 4 goals of the season. He has not played since July 4th. Had spent some significant time playing for the Egyptian U20 side in the Arab Cup and made it all the way to the finals, where they lost to Saudi Arabia.
Exiting the match, number 6, Giasu Samake. Entering the match, number 35, Abdelatif Abukora. All substitutions brought to you by Segra.
Robinson whistled for the foul. And here comes a change for the visitors. Darwin Mateus, the Venezuelan striker, in his second season with Atlanta United 2. Enters for Tristan Traeger. It's a Segra substitution for Jack Collison and company.
Entering the match, number 10, Darwin Mateus. All substitutions are brought to you by Segra.
Still a decent amount of time left in this second half to see if these substitutions can have an impact.
Conway stays on it. He's won his sided throw. Well, we've certainly seen a major impact from the first substitute in this match in Husso Landry. Will there be another super sub in the waning moments of this one? Fortune. Called in by Zamudio. Sargis hustles after it. Quality effort, but could not stay on it. Here comes that high press to perfection. Abdelatif's ball comes out to Tiente. Landry. Sargis now. Abdelatif gets a touch.
Turnover possession there. Gary with it. It's a little bit lackluster with that pass. Here we see that goal that gave Loudoun the lead. Clever pass from Landry. He's been key to turning this game in the second half in favor of Loudoun.
A guy who has been a starter for most of his appearances this year, but has come on as a substitute and has greatly changed the complexion of this matchup. Firmino through for Reimar. That's a rip. Valiant effort, but a goal kick on the way. Ryan Martin and company hoping to pick up 3 points, create a little bit of separation between them and a couple other teams in the lower portion of the Eastern Conference standings. Figure if they can hang on tonight after a very competitive matchup with a tremendous San Antonio side, maybe that can build some of the confidence, belief that this team needs to have a successful run down the stretch.
Yeah, I think if you look at the talent on this Loudoun team and how they're performing, there's no reason they shouldn't be winning more games. I think for Atlanta, this only compounds the struggles that they've had. If the result remains like this is now 10 games without a win. And that cannot be good for development. That cannot be good for the morale, the mentality of the players or anybody attached to this second team. So at some point there will need to be changes in terms of the personnel or style of play or whatever is transpiring right now with Atlanta United too. But on the other hand, for Loudoun, there's plenty of steps in the right direction.
Sargis, one-touch feed, finds Landry, probing for options. Back to Sargis. Was acquired via transfer from Sacramento Republic. Reimar, front of me, Mateus. Taking off the ball.
Good defending there from Vom Steeg just to cut the run off, win possession and keep the ball moving for his team. Great touch.
Diarra.
Oh. There's nobody in that area making the run. Right idea. Feel like if he drives it across goal to the back stick, he has more chance of getting the assist in that situation. Just didn't pick his head up to see anybody, but great diagonal pass and great first touch there from Diarra.
Inside the final 10 minutes. The difference-making goal was an own goal by Nelson Orji in the second half. Freeman wrestled off it. No whistle. And it's intercepted by Abdelatif.
Bad giveaway there from Conway.
There is Abukora, who's back after missing some time. Dances past one. Abukora curls it directly at Reyes.
Great individual ability there from Abukora to beat the player. Just didn't get enough on the strike to beat the keeper from that distance, but there you saw that agility and individual ability to beat players in 1v1 situations.
Will be allowed in United throw. Landry gets a touch, receives it right back. Landry loops ahead. Was looking for a streaking Diarra. Again, it's Landry involved in a key play.
It would be the most complete second half performance if Landry was to get himself on the score sheet in this game. He's done everything from possession to keeping the ball moving, to creating opportunities for his teammates, to winning back possession for his team. One thing he hasn't done is getting himself on the score sheet. I think if he was able to do that in the second half, we'd see probably one of the most complete second half performances that we've seen from such a young player.
Vicious effort from Diarra, who lofted it way off target. And Loudoun United set to make another Segra substitution, as Ignacio Alem, who has made 3 appearances this season, ready to enter. And Atlanta United 2 set to bring on Jonathan Vial. For his 18th appearance of the season, Vial, who has not played the last 3 matchups, signed this offseason from the Atlanta United Academy. Centeno comes off for the visitors. It's Freeman off for the home side. Freeman, the one who scored the penalty kick back in the 8th minute. And again, both substitutions are brought to you by Segra.
Entering the match, number 37.
I think Atlanta United will be happy to see the back of Freeman. He's been torturing them for most of the night.
Loudoun United substitution in the 84th minute. Exiting the match, number
Freeman, a guy who has certainly established himself as a major attacking threat for this Loudoun United side. Was on full display this evening. Fortune through for Vial, who has some space to work with. Low cross from the substitute. Sniffed out well. And there is Landry, who keeps it in.
Nice pass there from Fortune and good run from Vial. Good introduction into the game, but just was unable to have that quality in the delivery at the final moment. But
Fortune hustles after it. And Atlanta United to find that leveler.
Just sustaining that pressure in the final third now, trying to create the opportunity.
Fortune low cross, comes to Vial. They're pleading for a handball to no avail. At a foot race. The speedy Diarra, the first one to it.
Done ever so well to keep that in play. Now can he beat the defender 1v1?
Diarra dances. He does just that. Diarra comes off of Washington.
Great energy and intensity there from Diarra. Does ever so well to get onto the pass in the first place. Once he's in possession, he dances around the defender, and then it's just unlucky not to get his strike off on target. Defender does well to block it. But Diarra, another player who's come into the game and has a positive impact for his team.
Mateus.
Despite 2 teams that are out of play of contention, this has been an exciting, fun game to watch.
It certainly has been. You get the sense that we're not done just yet. As Brennan launches backside, finds the foot of Mateus.
Great delivery there from Brennan.
Looking for Conway, and it's worked out of danger.
Ball delivered deep into the box with tons of pace on it. Just needed somebody to attack it. There's time yet for Atlanta to get an equalizer if they can be a little bit more aggressive in their approach to go forward.
Fortune ahead for Raymar, and out of his reach.
Just a little bit too hard, that pass there from Fortune. But the right idea, the space was there.
Here comes another Segra substitution, and it's another young player, just 17 years old, Alan Carlton, the Atlanta United Academy player who, since his debut, has really made an impact has won 9 fouls in that time, which is the second most in USL Championship. And they hope that he can be the difference-making player as Jay Fortune makes his way off.
Yeah, another player who played alongside Brennan in the U17 with the GA Cup and MLS Next team, and see the experience that they're getting playing in the USL Championship at just 17 years old is incredible.
Green tries to maneuver around Firmino. Can't do so.
May I have your attention, please? Spencer Sakata, please report to the Loudoun United table at the main gate at the end of the game.
This is where it's all about game management now. This is where Loudoun put 11 players behind the ball, hold on to the lead that they have, slow down the clock. This is the kind of thing that comes with experience with games played and being alongside senior pros who have been in this situation before and know how to see a game out.
Luke Brennan, the youngster, lays in a cross. Mateus nearly was able to stick it goalward. Carlton had a shot as well.
It was Conway there who tried to get his head onto that ball and guide it on target, but he just didn't get the connection that I think he would have liked, and Loudoun will be happy to see that one just trickle wide of the upright and out for a goal kick. And Zamudio should be in no rush whatsoever to get this ball back into play. Just take your time, drain the clock.
And he'll direct his teammates. Like you said, no rush whatsoever.
And of course, we spoke about the progress that they've made. This was a fixture that they lost earlier in the year. They actually lost to Atlanta, and coming towards the postseason, it's now the fixture that they're winning, dominating possession and well in control of. 4 minutes remaining. Can they see out the result is the question mark that hangs over right now. Let's see.
Conway hustles after it with the hands of Zamudio.
Great distribution there from Zamudio.
Landry battles with Brennan.
All over the park, Landry. He's been in his defensive third. He's definitely dominated the central third in this second half. And now we're seeing him also in the attacking third.
And to think he's a guy who we didn't see in the first half, but he has made a major impact as Carlton weaves inside the 18.
Going into the final third going into the final 3 minutes of the game, though, you definitely want him to keep his shape and be in the center of the park where he's needed, especially when they're not in possession. Just to get back into position a little bit quicker and make sure he's there defensively to do his responsibilities for his team.
Ryan Martin hoping his side can hang on. He was pleased with the way that they finished out halves against San Antonio. Said their strong finish to the first and second halves as Zamudio was just booked. Something that they had really struggled with the last few matches. Hoping that trend can continue today for his side.
A yellow card has been issued in the 92nd minute to Loudoun United's number 50, Luis Zamudio.
And Vial takes some contact from behind. Carlton tried the quick restart. And it's a yellow card for Ignacio Ayala.
In the 92nd minute to Loudoun United's number 37, Ignacio Alem.
Long ball from Reyes. RG got a touch on it, but it's Alem who settles.
Nice play from Loudoun.
Landry feeds Diarra. Zoumana Diarra, a chance to put this game on ice. And that's it. Shirley the dagger. 3-1. Jeremy Garay.
You can see what that means to Loudoun United. That third goal is the nail in the coffin. It's over for Atlanta tonight. Loudoun making themselves loud and clear of the progress they've made throughout the course of the season. Some spectacular performances from some of these young players tonight. At this stage, you are wondering, has the opportunity gone? The layoff, first time strike into the back of the net. Atlanta were wide open, pushing to try and get the equalizer, and Loudoun made them pay on the counter-attack. 3-1.
Chris, it's another substitute who set up the goal, and these second-half subs have done wonders for Loudoun United.
Yeah, you have to give Ryan Martin credit in the way he's managed this game, in the substitutions he's made, the timing of the substitutions. He's brought them in at the right time, and Garay gets a goal deserved. He's had a decent performance in the center of the park tonight.
Jeremy's first goal of the season.
By number 14, Jeremy Garay.
Landry again had influence in the build-up play to that goal. Diarra, we spoke about the impact he's had since he's come in this second half. The energy that he's brought, timing of runs, intelligent movement. For Atlanta United, very tough.
Alam, back for Landry. Diarra, fresh off the assist to Garay. Finds Landry with some space. Landry has done a little bit of everything tonight.
I knew it was too good to be true. He's done everything. I knew that if he got the goal at the end of it, it would have been a perfect night for him. That's probably the one area he has to improve if I was to watch him as his coach. Does everything well to create the opportunity. See how easy he glides past the defender. Just unable to get the strike off on target, but we spoke about the impact he's had in this second half, and that would have been the cherry on top of the cake.
Have to imagine you're approaching that final whistle. Conway weaves through some traffic. Robinson, the slide tackle. And there it is. Loudoun United showed growth from earlier in this season. They lost 2-0 to this Atlanta United 2 side just 2 months ago. But they respond with a 3-1 victory, keyed by a couple of impact substitutes. And Ryan Martin's club back in the win column for the 6th time this season.
Yeah, you have to give Loudoun the credit. They performed very well tonight. I think they deservedly came out winners. The substitutions that came in the second half had a huge impact on the team. We're able to give them a lift.
3-1 is the final. You see Freeman, he got the scoring started, but it was a complete effort for this side. And we'll recap things after this. Loudoun United a 3-1 victory over Atlanta United 2. Stick with us for post-match on ESPN+. Tonight's final score is presented by Segra, and it's Loudoun United victorious in large part due to the man you see in the center of your screen, Husu Landry, just 22 years old, but he played like a seasoned veteran tonight. The impact substitute really changed the dynamic of this game, and he thrusted his side back into the win column for the 6th time this season. A 3-1 win over Atlanta United 2. As we welcome you in post-match, John Gross alongside Chris Nurse. And we will take a look at the highlights from the past 90 minutes. We start things off in the 7th minute. And remember this name, Abdul Zane. He had quite the impact tonight, draws the foul inside the 18. A penalty kick awarded after a little bit of a delay. And then it's Tyler Freeman. Cool, calm, and collected, 1-0.
Tyler Freeman, composed, buries it into the side net, and keepers don't often get close to those ones when they're so accurate. Sends the keeper the wrong way. 1-0 in the lead, Loudoun United.
So it was a strong start for the home side, but the visitors able to get one back. How about this beautiful goal? It starts with the youngster Brennan, able to lay it across, and a quality finish by Jackson Conway.
Brennan driving forward here, some fancy footwork, gets his head up, sees Conway in the middle, good delivery, and that's confidence for you. Just guides it on target when the ball is behind him, puts it into the back of the net, levels things up for his team.
53rd minute, here's that man Zane again, works it back to Freeman, and it's a handball, so another chance at a PK conversion.
And this was Landry's instant introduction to the game, sliding Zane in behind, the strike from Freeman, defender down on his back, uses his hand, PK. Zane a little bit too cocky in his approach to taking this one, and the keeper saves it.
So we move on to the 68th minute. Loudoun United, they were knocking in the door quite a bit tonight. Landry's ball, oh, an own goal. It's Nelson Orji who just taps it in. Oh, for the outstretched arms of his keeper Reyes. But again, it's Landry having the impact.
Landry, that little delicate pass, spinning in behind the back four, put it into dangerous areas, cause the defender to make the mistake and give his team the lead.
That was the dagger. Jeremy Garay's goal in stoppage time, 3-1.
Diarra here making the lung-busting run in behind, cuts back, composed, lays it off of Garay. He makes no mistake, drilling it into the bottom corner of the goal, giving his team the 3-1 victory. You can see what it means to him. Loudoun take all 3 points tonight.
And the stats as follows really reflect what we saw for much of the match. Loudoun with the ball a lot, Loudoun with a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, convincing performance from Loudoun tonight. Very good from start to finish. 21 shots, controlled possession of the game, leave the game 3-1 winners.
3-1 is the final. It was a match controlled from the get-go by Loudoun United. Things got a little interesting, though, after the equalizer. But a couple of second-half goals with major impact from a couple of substitutes put the home side back in the win column for the 6th time this year. For our phenomenal crew and my broadcast partner, Chris Nurse, I'm John Gross saying so long. Big thanks to all of you for joining us. This has been USL Championship live on ESPN+.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.